you here. Each week we're going to have a different speaker, a really exciting speaker who is going to just pour some truths into you, help you to be able to succeed and call you up in whatever job you're doing at this time of your life. I wanted to read a little bit out of the Bible. When I was being asked to head up the job thing and praying about it, I've worked for many years, but I didn't really consider myself a career woman or career minded. So I was praying on it to see if this is where I belonged, and I opened my Bible one day for my devotions. Forgive me if I get out of breath. I have a little heart thing going on right now. But anyways, this is what I read in the notes. A woman frequently works long, hard hours and sacrifices a great deal of personal time in order to do all her jobs well. This demands unique creativity in order to maintain priorities and fulfill legitimate expectations with home and family. Wisdom from the Lord enables a woman to prepare herself to accomplish her tasks in a way so that time and energy are used most efficiently and effectively. By focusing on God's unconditional love, a woman can keep from demanding perfection of herself. Jesus himself finished his life on earth without healing every person who was sick or preaching to everyone who was lost. The challenge for women with careers is to make sure that first they are women who fear the Lord, and then that their work is ordered according to the priorities and plans the Lord has given. So focus on pleasing God, and he will enable you not only to please others and meet their needs, but also to bring honor to him through your pursuits. The Lord will go with you and in you to your job. So above being skilled and successful at your career, you do want to be able to be a reflection of Christ in the workplace and honor him in that. So with that being said, I want to introduce our speaker for this first session. Tracy Rodden, sitting here in the front row, has a passion for teaching and training women on how to build teams and have successful businesses through networking as a follower of Jesus in today's world. With over 25 years in ministry and business, she has seen that when we empower Christian women in business, we change the world. This evening, she's going to speak on how to build a business through networking and being a follower of Christ. So welcome, Tracy. So glad to have you.
Thank you. So if you could just stand up for 1 second and everybody scoot in. You're in, everybody just kind of scoot in. It helps when you're speaking if everybody is closer together, so I don't feel like I leave people out. So originally I'm from Northern California, and I moved here to New Mexico 8 years ago, and I'm still getting used to the fact that if I go over the Sandias, the ocean will not be there. Maybe when the Lord comes back, but my husband and I, we've been married for 8 years, and we have 5 kids together. We're a blended family, and we just added 3 extra kids to our family. We've had 3 weddings in 5 months. Yeah, so when you're busy, you can still network, right? So planning 3 weddings and some other things I've been doing, I've been able to still network. So I've been in ministry with women for 25 years, and I've been running businesses for over 30 years. So I am 50, and I just really want to share my heart with you because I've seen a lot of things in those 30 years. So for 4 years, I ran the women's Bible study ministry at Calvary, Osuna. And last May, I left my job, and I was able to make my side hustle my main job. And so I was able to stop doing the 9 to 5 Monday through Friday thing. You're nodding your head because it gets hard as you get older. That Monday through Friday 9 to 5 thing, you kind of start to think, how am I going to run my life if I have to clock in and out? So through networking, I was able to build a business and leave the 9 to 5 job, but still be in ministry. So I'm really excited about that. So one of the things that I teach the women on my team is that I believe that when we empower Christian women in business, we change the world. And so I hope that you get inspired by what we're going to talk about tonight. So the first thing, let's just dive in. The first thing that I have on the outline is it's not about you. Who understands, like, right off maybe what I'm talking about? Okay, so Philippians 2:3-4 says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking for your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others." And so Paul talks about that, and that's really the main concept, in my opinion, of networking, and that's the main concept that I teach my team. So the way that you do this is when you meet people, when you're networking, you want to listen to what people say to you, okay? So when I'm talking with somebody, I don't talk, I let them talk. That's really key. People will let you know what they need. So let's say if you have a business that is design graphics, people are going to let you know if they need design graphic, right? If they need a website built or something like that. So listen for that. The second thing is you need to be genuinely interested in other people, okay? Rather than telling them about yourself, you're going to listen. And you want to find a way to make a connection. So you want to find something in common. So one of the examples of that would be if you're a parent, if you're married, how long you've been in business, and just kind of make that connection with them. Find that common ground. That's a huge networking plus. And then with Philippians in mind, you want to look to a way that you can serve that person. Okay? So you want to be willing to really go that extra mile. If I have a business and in my business I don't really see that there's a way that I'm going to serve somebody, I kind of start thinking of a way that somebody else's business can serve that person, right? So if I have a business that's health and wellness, but somebody else has a real estate business, I'm going to say, I know this person in real estate that you should really talk to. So I'm going that extra mile to serve that person, to help meet the need that they have. Okay? The next topic that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to have a little bit of a question and answer time, is what I find in business is you want to be a copycat. And the Bible is really clear about this. There's nothing new under the sun. So in my opinion, life is difficult enough and we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So whatever business you're in or whatever hobby even that you want to get involved in, you want to find somebody that already is doing that well. Okay? So let's say that I want to be a bodybuilder. I don't know anything about that. I don't know what I would eat. I don't know what exercises to do. I don't even know where to start. But I'm going to start asking questions and find somebody that already knows how to do that. And I'm just going to copy them. I'm going to do what they do. Okay? The other thing is when you're networking and you want to be a copycat, this is probably something that, we'll see. Social media. Who uses social media in their business? Every single person in here that has a business should be utilizing social media. It's huge. You can reach thousands of people with your Instagram, okay? And then on social media, I used to think that it was a faux pas to copy what somebody else was doing on their Instagram. It's not. Everybody does that and it's expected. So if you don't have a social media presence on Instagram, you should get that. And you can find help with social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can just Google it. There's a lot of books, but I wouldn't spend the money on books. I would just Google that, whatever you want to learn. And then find somebody, a millennial preferably, who's really good at social media, and just ask them to sit down with you, bribe them, like buy them food, take them to lunch, get them a coffee, and just say, can you spend 15 minutes just teaching me how to use Instagram? And those 15 minutes are valuable, okay? Who here is a millennial and you love social media? Because I'm going to out you right now. People are going to come talk to you right after this. Okay, there's a couple ladies in here. And if there's no one in here right now that you know, if you have a child, they know. And they will teach you how to use it. So I love, love, love social media. So keep in mind a couple things about social media. People want to see your face. This is so hard for me. So like I said, I'm 50, and I was always taught as a woman, be quiet, don't be too loud, be humble, don't get out there and promote yourself, right? Just, just be humble and be quiet. That's not social media. People who are following you on social media, they want to see your face. They want to hear your voice. They want real interaction. So on your social media feed, you want to have 90% you, okay, 10% pictures. Does that kind of make sense? Do whatever you have to do. If you have to get the makeup on, and what's cool about social media is you usually only have to get dressed from here up. Like in most of my stuff, I'm like in pajamas or running shorts from here down. And what I did is I went ahead and I think it was $12 to $20, and I bought one of those camera phone holders, and it clips onto the table or the counter, and it has a light that you can change the lighting. Thank God, because I don't want fluorescent light while I'm doing a video. I want to be able to dim it, the candle light, so it doesn't show so many wrinkles. So I suggest that you invest in that. That's a really excellent thing to invest in. And
Sorry, what was that called?
light, it's going to come to me. Let me think of it. Give me a second. I'll remember in a second, probably after you leave. But if you want to see some things that I do on social media, this is my Instagram. And I have a daughter who's in business with me who's 22, and I just copy what she does. And she texts me all the time, do this and do that. And I texted her the other day, she lives in Washington. I said, I think I have to buy like that Instagram for Dummies. And she said, don't do that, just Google it, what you want. And I said, well, how do I know what I want? I don't know. So she's like, well, just text me and I'll tell you. So find somebody to help you. So in order to meet as many people as possible, because that's what we do in networking, right? Who here loves networking? You just love it. Okay. Is that why you're here? You love it?
I would love it.
You would love it. I love it. I love people. You can always learn from someone else, and so that's why I really love it. What you want to do when you are networking, you have to get out of your comfort zone. No matter what, you have to. If you have to bribe a friend to come with you to something, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You want to meet as many people as you possibly can. And so you want to make as many connections as you possibly can. And so a couple of ways that I found to do this quickly instead of painfully, I go to everything I'm invited to. If whatever is possible for me to get to, baby showers, birthdays, Sheologie, whatever I'm invited to, I go to that. And this Sheologie, what we had tonight, this is a huge networking possibility, okay? So I think it's a really good idea to come to as many of these as possible. The other thing is I really love this because I love to eat. I go to women's networking luncheons, and there's one called Faith at Work, and you can look that up on the internet. Holly knows her, and I think we've seen each other there many times. And they meet once a month, and it's run by navigators, right? And they used to meet at the Marriott. I don't know where they meet now, but you can Google it because Google knows everything. The Sheraton Uptown, thank you. Hey, let's just give a hand for those of us who got through high school without Google, okay? Seriously, because if I had that phone in high school, okay. Anyways, so go to as many luncheons as you can. Go to conferences. There's a lot of conferences that happen here in Albuquerque, women's conferences. And one of the things that I think is really difficult for a lot of women and who want to network is we have a hard time saying, I'm in this business, and telling somebody. I have a friend who, she was in real estate for a really long time and she stopped, and I said, well, why did you stop? being involved in real estate. She said, I just wanted people to just come to me and ask me to sell their house. I didn't want to have to tell them. Well, we're not mind readers. You know, we need to tell people. And so that goes back to my first point is figure out how you're going to serve them and tell people what you do. Okay, you have to get out there and you have to say it. So let's go to the last point because I just have a few minutes left. I had to like cram all this in. Like if I started talking, we would be having a slumber party for sure. Okay, so the last thing, which I think is a really big part, is do the work. Successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. There's no reason you can't be better at networking. There's no reason. There's YouTube videos, love YouTube. I once read about this woman and her 2 sons built their own house all by YouTube videos. Yeah. If they can build a house, we can learn how to network. So there's TED Talks. I even catch my husband sometimes like doing the YouTube thing with the car. I'm like, yeah. So, you know, you can learn whatever you want to learn with networking. Like I said before, find somebody who's really good at networking and do what they do, okay? Be willing to do the work you're asking others to do. No person succeeds by themselves. I don't care who it is. Every successful person has done that because they have a team. Amen? Every person. Even in parenting, you know, even if you're a single parent, you've teamed up with somebody, even if it's just the Lord. So you have a team. You're leading a team in order to build your business. You have to be willing to do what you're asking your team to do, or they're not going to follow you and they're not going to help you. That's just the way it is. You want to set the example. That's really a big key. One of the things that I've learned as a leader, and I've learned this in a really painful way, so I wanted to tell you, so you don't have to learn it in a painful way, never complain about your job or your business to anybody. Nobody's going to want to hire you or come onto your team if you're complaining about your job. They're just not. They're going to go to somebody else, okay? So the other point I have that I really love is let your team or your customers know that you're in your business for the long haul. It's not an overnight thing. I really prefer if people don't use the word side hustle because that sounds temporary. So let people know you're in it. You're not leaving. You're going to be the graphic designer till the end of time. You're going to be the cupcake maker till the end of time. You're going to be there for them, okay? And this will give your team and your customers confidence. How many of you found that perfect thing, that perfect cupcake, the perfect hairstylist? Girl, like seriously, that takes forever to find the perfect person to do your hair. And then you go back to, and they're gone, right? Sometimes you just want to interview people like your hairstylist. How long are you going to be here for? And are you staying at this job? But I have followed my hairstylists from place to place as they've moved from different salons because, you know, I really loved them. So make sure people know that you're in it for the long haul, and that really will build confidence. Have you ever noticed when you're driving, you see like billboards or vans that say, we've been in business 35 years, family owned, right? That's the reason. The last thing, one of the last things I want to talk about is you have to be willing, and I know this is going to be hard to understand at first, and you're going to, it's like a big pill, but you got to swallow it. You got to be willing to give up the fun thing. Okay? So when you're networking, you have to be willing to give up something because everybody has the same amount of time, right? Nobody has extra time. But if you're spending time binge watching Netflix, okay, napping, because That's what I do. You need to stop that, and you need to give up the things that you love for a little while so that you can do the things that you need to do to get your business off the ground and network. Okay? One of the things that I do, or a couple of things that I do, is I get up early. Somebody on my team gets up at 3:30 to work out so they can have time for everything they have to get done in the day. And that's a new thing for her. Yeah, I'm not doing that part, but I do say no to a lot of things. The other thing is, it's important to always be in self-development. So you want to always be learning and developing yourself as a leader, developing yourself as a business owner. You want to stay up with the latest thing. And in order to do that, you have to be reading all the time. Some books that were written a long time ago, you can read that aren't the latest. One of them that I really love is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Who's heard of that book? It's like the #1 corporate book that everybody's forced to read. But I have some other books that I have just loved. And in order to conserve my time, I've downloaded these onto audio. So some of the books that I really love that I think that would be helpful in business is Chase a Lion by Mark Batterson. Who's read that book? Nobody's read that book? That is an excellent book. If you don't have time to read, download it onto Audible and listen to it. If you have a commute, I used to live in Rio Rancho and I worked at Calvary Osuna, so that sometimes can be an hour commute each way. So I would just listen to books on tape. And I also learned some Italian in that time. The next book I really loved was The Lemon Life by Zach Freeman. The Lemonade Life, sorry. Love this book. Love, love, love this book. The book with Mark Batterson, he is a believer, and that's really clear when you read his book. The Lemonade Life with Zach Friedman, I think he's a believer, but his stuff is really clean. Some people out there that are very encouraging for women in business aren't necessarily clean, so we try to steer away from that. The third person I really love is Simon Sinek. I love his YouTube videos. I love his TED Talks. I love his book, Start With Why. Okay, so those are some excellent, excellent books. You're not going to go wrong reading those. And those are just a few tips. So you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to go to everything you're invited to. You have to tell people what you do. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and this is maybe something we're going to do in the spring, you have to iron your clothes when you're in business. This is like my biggest pet peeve. Get a steamer, whatever you need to do, but don't walk out of the house to a business meeting unless your clothes are ironed. Okay, seriously, people will have an opinion of you the first 7 seconds that they see you. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Go to H&M, but iron it. Is that my time up?